Have you ever asked yourself, what is the smallest unit of life? Well, the answer to that is the cell. Cells are the fundamental units of life, the bricks that build every living organism. From the minuscule microbe to the gigantic whale, every organism is made up of cells. Diving deeper, we find that there are two primary types of cells, prokaryotic and eukaryotic, each with distinct traits and characteristics. Prokaryotic cells, the simpler of the two types, are usually found in single-celled organisms like bacteria. These cells lack a nucleus and other membrane-bound organelles. However, they do contain DNA, just not within a defined nucleus. Instead, the DNA floats freely within the cell in a region known as the nucleoid. On the other hand, we have the more complex eukaryotic cells. These cells are typically found in multicellular organisms, such as plants, animals, and humans. They are equipped with a nucleus that houses the cell's DNA, and they also contain other specialized compartments or organelles, each with a specific function. Now, you may be wondering about the differences between these two types of cells. Well, aside from the presence of a nucleus in eukaryotic cells and its absence in prokaryotic cells, there are several other differences. For instance, eukaryotic cells are generally larger and they have a more complex structure due to the presence of various organelles. Another significant difference lies in the way these cells reproduce. Prokaryotic cells divide through a process called binary fission, a simple form of reproduction where the cell splits into two. On the other hand, eukaryotic cells divide through a more complex process called mitosis, where the cell's DNA is duplicated before the cell splits. So, in essence, we can say that cells are the building blocks of life. They are like the bricks that build a house, but for all living organisms. So, now that we know what cells are, what happens inside them, what makes them work? Let's delve into this microscopic world and discover its secrets. Inside every cell, there's an entire world bustling with activity. The cell membrane, a thin, flexible barrier, is the gatekeeper of this world. It controls what enters and exits the cell, ensuring the cell gets the nutrients it needs and expels waste products. Beneath the cell membrane lies the cytoplasm, a jelly-like substance that houses the cell's organelles. Think of the cytoplasm as the ocean in which these organelles swim. Each organelle has a specific function akin to different workers in a factory, each with their own job. The nucleus, often considered the control center of the cell, is one such organelle. It's like the cell's brain, storing genetic information and directing the cell's activities. It's the nucleus that tells the cell when to grow, divide, and make proteins. Speaking of proteins, the ribosomes, tiny factories within the cell, are responsible for producing them. They follow the instructions given by the nucleus and synthesize proteins, which are vital for the structure, function, and regulation of the cell's tissues and organs. Then there's the mitochondria, often referred to as the powerhouse of the cell. These organelles convert nutrients into energy that the cell can use to carry out its functions. And what about cell division and reproduction? Well, when a cell needs to reproduce, it undergoes a process called mitosis. The cell duplicates its DNA, divides the duplicated DNA between two new cells, and then splits into two. This is how cells grow and replace old or damaged cells. It's fascinating, isn't it? How such a tiny unit of life can have such complex and intricate workings. Even though we can't see these processes with our naked eye, they're happening right now inside every single cell in your body. This is the marvel of life at its most basic level, the cell, the fundamental unit of life. Now, let's delve deeper into the building blocks of cells. What are these biomolecules that make up the cells? Biomolecules, as the name suggests, are molecules that exist in living organisms, playing crucial roles in maintaining the structure and function of cells. They are essentially the nuts and bolts of life, the essential components that allow our cells and in turn us to live and thrive. Now, there are four major types of biomolecules that we're going to focus on today. These are carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, and nucleic acids, each with its own unique structure and function. First up, carbohydrates. These are the primary source of energy for all cellular functions. They're like the fuel that keeps the engine of the cell running. Not only that, but they also play a key role in cell structure, particularly in plants. Next, we have proteins. These are the workhorses of the cell, involved in virtually every process within the cell. They function as enzymes, hormones, antibodies, and structural components, among other things. They are, in essence, the multi-tool of biomolecules. Moving on to lipids, these are the cell's energy reserves. Think of them as the cell's savings account, storing energy for when it's needed. They also form the cell membrane, creating a barrier that protects the cell from its surroundings. Last, but certainly not least, we have nucleic acids. These are the cell's information carriers, storing and transmitting the genetic information that guides the cell's functions. They are the blueprint, the instruction manual for the cell. So, to recap, carbohydrates provide energy and structure. Proteins carry out a myriad of functions. Lipids store energy and form the cell membrane, and nucleic acids carry genetic information. So, biomolecules are the building blocks of cells, which in turn are the building blocks of life. But how do cells and biomolecules interact with each other? Well, let's dive right in. Biomolecules are essentially the building blocks of life, produced within the cells through a process known as biosynthesis. These biomolecules include proteins, lipids, carbohydrates, and nucleic acids, each playing a pivotal role in our existence. Proteins, for instance, are responsible for nearly all the functions of cellular life. While lipids form the structure of cell membranes, carbohydrates provide the energy cells need to function, and nucleic acids carry the genetic information that drives evolution and growth. But it's not just about production. Once these biomolecules have served their purpose, they're broken down and recycled within the cell through a process known as catabolism. This process ensures nothing goes to waste. The interplay between cells and biomolecules is a constant cycle of creation, use, and recycling. It's a beautiful dance, really. So, the dance of cells and biomolecules is what keeps life going. It's a symbiotic relationship where one cannot exist without the other. Let's recap what we've learned today. We embarked on a fascinating journey into the microscopic world of cells, understanding them as the fundamental units of life. We explored their structure and how each part contributes to their function. We then delved into the intricate world of biomolecules, learning about their various types and the vital roles they play in life processes. But the magic truly lies in the interplay between cells and biomolecules. It's this dynamic relationship that sustains life, allowing us to grow, heal, and adapt. It's a complex dance of nature that, despite its intricacies, happens seamlessly within our bodies every second of every day. In essence, we've uncovered a whole new world within us, a world that is as fascinating as it is complex. Thank you for watching this video. If you've learned something new today, do like this video and share it. And don't forget to subscribe to Facts Academy 0122. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below.